Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jason Rosati Strength Systems, here with a special online workshop. This online workshop is going to be dedicated to helping you lose fat, lose weight, and keep it off without doing any overly restrictive diets, okay? I want to make this as easy as possible for you. I want you to be able to walk away from this workshop and be able to have clarity on exactly what you need to do in order for you to lose weight, to do good workouts, like the overall conceptual understanding of what needs to be done, okay? And I'm going to go more into detail of like who I am, what my story is, and hopefully some things that will help you take some of this advice seriously, as well as what I share with my clients, as I've been training people for the past 8 years, and I've really found that through all the waves of the fitness industry and all the noise that's out there, there's a lot of BS out there. And what I really hope to do is be able to give you guys an understanding of exactly what you need to do. And we can just ignore all the noise, ignore all the fancy diets, no fluff. This is what needs to be done from a mental perspective, from a physical perspective, nutrition, all of that stuff that you're going to need during your journey. Because that's the thing, that this weight loss thing is a journey. It's a transformation of oneself when you go through a weight loss. It's a big change of habits. It's a big change of behavior. It's a big mindset shift. Once we're able to really understand what needs to be done, we can ignore all the BS that's out there, because that's what this goal in this workshop is really for. Okay, so let's kind of jump right into it. And if you guys ever have any questions on anything that happens during this workshop, you can leave it in like the comment section, or you can always email me, rosatistrengthsystems@gmail.com. You can DM me on social media. Let's get on a call and let's work through some of the struggles that you've been having, right? You know, let's first off make sure that you're in the right place. So who exactly is this for? So if you're someone who wants to start dieting and starts losing weight, then this video is for you. If you've ever tried dieting before but it hasn't been working for you, if you've ever been in like a yo-yo cycle of dieting where you're losing weight, gaining the weight back, or you're restarting that diet on Monday, binging over the weekends, then this place is definitely for you. And if you want to know what workouts are the best for weight loss, then we're going to be able to cover that as well. It's very common that we end up in some type of yo-yo, right, where you're losing weight and then gaining the weight back. And if you've been in that cycle before and you want to really get serious about losing weight, then this workshop is going to be for you. So exactly what this video will cover, like I said previously, how weight loss really works, especially from a scientific perspective, instead of just like random people online. Exactly how to structure your nutrition plan for success. We're going to be able to go over all the guidelines, how you can follow a plan consistently over time, as that's what's going to take to get the real results. How to change your routine, how to change your behaviors, how to change your habits. This is something that is very important, that is commonly ignored or brushed under, not spoke about enough in the fitness industry. And again, the optimal workout structure. So let me just quickly tell you a little bit about me, my story. This is my before and after. These are about 3 years apart. These two photos. The photo on the left was when I was near my heaviest. I probably wasn't my heaviest in that photo, honestly. I was at about 210 pounds. I was a young kid growing up, eating junk food, playing video games all the time. And, eventually I wanted a change. I ended up going to the doctor's office with my mom. I was like 15 at the time. And the doctor weighed me, did like my BMI, said I was overweight, said that I was kind of like on the path towards obesity, and to say that I needed to maintain my weight. It was 210 pounds at the time, no muscle whatsoever. 210 pounds. He said that I needed to maintain that weight for the next 6 years in order to be considered healthy. And it was very mind-blowing to me, and it was kind of like really stuck deep. And I think that it really takes you guys to make this change and to make this transformation is there's something deep that happens within you. You get sick and tired of being like sick and tired. You get sick and tired of being where you are, and that's exactly where I was. So I started working out, I started eating healthier, and I saw a little bit of progress. I lost like 20 pounds, but then I maintained my weight for almost a full year where I was basically just telling myself, I'm going to go back on my diet. I'm going to cut my carbs. I'm going to work out every day. And then I would skip my workouts, and then I would, just kind of binge eat and cheat on my diet, because for me at the time when I first started, it wasn't an enjoyable process. So what I hope to do is kind of teach you how to make this process more enjoyable. And then I switched to the calorie tracking, and I started to really focus on the strength training that I'm going to be explaining to you today. And I managed to fully lose that 50 pounds. I got down to about 160, 163, built some muscle, got stronger, and I've kept it off ever since. I've never like seriously gained weight back ever again. I've never been on a yo-yo. I've always been consistent. I've gained weight when I was like bulking or trying to get stronger. I've definitely done that, but it was controlled, and it wasn't like binge eating or overeating anymore. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about why most diets don't work. Like keto, Atkins, low carb, or even just like I'm going to eat healthier can be like considered a diet, is that they lack sustainability. Okay, you need to be able to do something consistently over time, and if something is like dawning on you, or like more like dragging on you, like, man, I need to do this diet, like I need to hunker down and use my willpower, that's when you're really going to have a problem following through. A lot of diets also restrict your social circumstances, as like it's going to be hard for you to go out with your friends or on the weekends if you feel like you need to be on this like very strict diet. We can actually fit social circumstances, going out to eat, going out to have some drinks. We can fit all of that in a weight loss plan. And they're boring, they're not fun, and they're mostly associated with negative emotions. So, you think to yourself like, oh man, like I need to go on this diet, like it sucks. Like that's a negative emotion. For me, when I'm going through a weight loss phase, I get excited because I'm going to be respectfully challenging myself, but I know that it's realistic what I can do, and I'm excited to see the results that happen and the progress that happens, because I know that this isn't going to be like a miserable experience. So that's the type of mindset shift that we want to make here. So the first thing we're going to be covering is definitely like a mental shift and an identity. So if you're currently identifying to yourself as like an overweight person that messes up on their diet, and you constantly are telling yourself these like negative stories, like that you're like something's wrong with you, that you can't follow a diet, that's when you're going to really have a lot of problems. Like, you're not a bad person because you can't follow a diet. Most people can't follow a diet, and I'm telling you, as a trainer and as a coach, as a sport nutrition specialist, I'm telling you that most of these diets will set you up to fail, and guilt and shame will not serve your journey. So if you're constantly in this state of like feeling guilty and feeling negative about how you can't follow a diet, that's how you know, that's a sure sign that something needs to change, that there's probably a better solution to your problem. Start to identify, so as we start to kind of shift this identity, go into more of a positive mindset. Start to identify someone as, I care about my health. I want to be fit. I want to be confident. I am working towards being confident. I'm working towards my best self. These things, these affirmations that you can tell yourself can really help you shift that identity, right? And then I just threw this in, this little puppy dog feeling a little guilty, feeling a little shameful. Don't be like him, don't be that little guilty face. Look at that. You could be as cute as ever, but you don't need to feel guilty. You don't need to feel guilty like my boy here if you can't follow a diet, because screw diets. We don't want to do diets. We want to look at realistic approach to nutritional changes to your workouts. Okay. So one thing I want to talk about is a discipline versus routine. And a lot of people think like, oh, I just need to have more willpower to succeed. I need to fight my cravings more. I need to be more disciplined. I need to do these things, right? Like I need to be better. I need to be disciplined. Those are all stories that we tell ourselves when we're trying to like get in shape or even just do anything positive for ourselves in general. But really what it is that you need to have a new routine, okay? And I'm going to go over more of like the mental mind, the behavior, the how our habits dictate what we do. If we're able to change our habits, we actually don't need so much willpower. Like, I'll give you an example. So obviously I used to be very heavyweight and I used to have like a lot of cravings for junk food and fast food and stuff. And I do still have those cravings sometimes, and I allow myself to have those things because I understand how to fit them into my plan. I don't need to always like fight my cravings or fight my urges or tell myself I can't go out because I need to follow my diet, right? Like, we don't need to do that. If we're able to change our behaviors and our habits, and if a routine can satisfy craving and it's sustainable while we're in a calorie deficit, then you will get to your goal and we'll be able to achieve what we want to achieve. A calorie deficit is the most important thing. And that's probably something that you've heard before, that you need to be in a calorie deficit. But if we're able to maintain that goal of being in a calorie deficit, and we're able to fit the things that we crave or versions of that into our routine, then we won't need to worry about spending our willpower, spending our mental energy. Does that start to make sense to you guys, how we're making this shift from just I need to be more disciplined and have more willpower to I'm going to fit these things that my human body like naturally craves into my routine, and that's how you're going to be able to stick to it long term. Okay, so let's get a little bit more into it. So I want to talk a little bit about like our human brain, right? So we're wired towards comfort. We want to be doing what's comfortable. So we want to, that's why we're able to get those cravings of like junk food or anything like that. Like, we're wired to want that comfort food. And I think it's important that when we start to like identify what is going on, like we're just kind of getting this gravitational pull, we're able to kind of recognize that as, okay, like that's just my human brain, my human craving, just giving me some signals. Like, maybe we can like look at it logically, like, why am I always craving junk food? Why am I always craving sugar, right? If you start to ask yourself that, you're able to start to recognize where your problems are, and then you'll be able to make an adjustment in real time towards changing that routine and changing that habit. I'm about to break down into more detail how to actually change the habit, but just know for now that habits require less conscious effort to perform. So if we're able to change our habits, we don't need to, we can start to change the way that our cravings are and the way that we look at needing willpower, right? Like, if you brush your teeth, you probably don't think too much about like how to brush your teeth, right? So an example I always tell my clients with this too is, imagine like your first day at work and you have to drive to work and it's like 25 minutes away, let's say, and maybe you make some wrong turns, you need a GPS, you need to stay more focused, you have like more anticipation for that first time going to work. It's going to take more mental energy versus the 100th time that you're driving to work. You're blasting music, you're singing to Taylor Swift, you're drinking coffee, and you don't even need a GPS and you're able to just drive straight there, right? That's going to be how you can make that shift, where you go from more conscious effort, focusing in on building those good habits, to then those habits are established, you don't need to think about it anymore. So if we keep looking at like, I need to be dieting, exercising, if we're telling ourselves that we need to be dieting and exercising, it's a lot of mental energy. But if it's just part of our routine, we don't need to think about it so much, and we'll be able to succeed. So it's almost like you're rewiring your brain to become someone that is like more healthy and fit and doing the things that it takes to get to your goals. So let's go a little bit more into detail on how to change your behavior, how to change your habits. So a habit is a cue, routine, and reward. And there's an awesome book on this called The Power of Habit that tells like more stories about how this works. So let's give an example. So let's say you're someone who smokes cigarettes and you want to change smoking cigarettes. So your routine in that case is smoking cigarettes. You have a cue and a reward that is signifying around that routine, okay? We cannot remove a habit, but we can only change a routine. So your cues and your rewards are there for a reason. So when you have a bad habit, ask yourself, what is cueing me to perform this routine and what am I getting out of it? So as an example, back to smoking cigarettes. We have a cue to smoke the cigarette. That cue for most of the time is going to be a stress response. So you start thinking about a problem that you're having financially, or a problem that you're having with your family, or anything that's causing you stress. So you smoke a cigarette because of that excess stress, and then the reward that you get for smoking that cigarette is a decrease in stress, right? That's the reward. So if we say, okay, well, that's our cue, that's our reward. We can't change the cue and reward. So what most people do is they try to quit cigarettes by being more disciplined and having more willpower, right? Okay, I'm stressed. Oh, I really want to smoke a cigarette. Okay, I'm not going to smoke the cigarette. I'm not going to smoke the cigarette. I'm not going to smoke the cigarette. Like, I have willpower. I'm disciplined. Eventually, that willpower is going to go down. You only have so much willpower every day. Eventually, that willpower is going to go, and you're going to cave, and you're going to smoke the cigarette eventually. At least that's what happens to many people, unless they can change their routine up a little bit. So what people do, and what obviously, like, you probably have heard this before, but in order for you to then change the fact that you're smoking cigarettes as a way to relieve your stress, you look at, okay, here I am stressed. That's my cue to smoke the cigarette. Instead of just saying you're not going to smoke the cigarette, you need to change what you're doing in response to the stress. Okay, I'm stressed. What else can I do to relieve my stress? That's a question that you can ask yourself. Well, I can go on a walk. So you go on a 10-minute walk, and all of a sudden the craving goes away. And or maybe you go to the gym. Now you get that same reward of that stress relief. So you need to look at that as what is going on with you. So let's say you're driving home from work, and it's really easy for you to pull over and get fast food because you're stressed out, work is hard. So you want to be able to just get some food. You don't have to think about cooking. And then you go home and you eat it, and it kind of like relaxes you a bit, and you feel a little lethargic, and it tastes good. So you get that stress relief, right? You can look at then changing that routine. So if you're coming home stressed from work, maybe you go straight to the gym. Maybe you decide that you want to eat a healthy meal because you know you're going to feel better afterwards. Something to that effect. Or you can say, maybe we need to change how you're doing your nutrition earlier in the day, right? So what happens is if you're able to step back, basically what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is if you're able to take a step back out of the emotional turmoil that's going on, and you try to look at solutions that you can change in your routine and in your daily habits that can then affect the craving that you're getting. And that's something that having like a coach is really helpful for, because we're able to bounce those ideas off of each other, and you're able to explain it to me, and I'm not in that emotional position, so I'm able to logically explain back to you what is a good solution. But it's definitely, can definitely be a little bit complicated. I hope you're starting to at least understand this a little bit and starting to think a little bit differently. I know it can get a little bit deep, so let's move on for now. And let's go into how fat loss works, okay? Like, let's look at the scientific way of how fat loss works. So it's something called the law of thermodynamics, which in layman's terms is just energy is transferred from one place to another. It has to do with a lot of different systems going on. But essentially, our body fat is stored energy. So that fat that you can grab at your stomach, the fat that you can grab under your arms, it's stored energy. And calories, the food that we're eating, is energy, okay? So let's say you burn 2,000 calories a day. If I'm taking in 2,500 calories of energy, then my body is going to store body fat because it's storing energy. So in order for us to lose fat or lose weight, we need to be able to take in less energy than our body burns. We need to be eating 1,700 calories as an example. This is not telling you how many calories to eat. This is just purely an example so you can start to understand where I'm coming from. This is the overall conceptual weight loss, fat loss. There's people out there that say, oh, you shouldn't track your calories. It causes like eating disorders. Maybe that can be argued that calorie tracking might not be good for a specific individual with a specific set of problems. But that doesn't mean that calorie tracking in and of itself is bad. And it also doesn't mean that like being in a calorie deficit isn't true to what makes fat loss work. Like people will say like, oh, you can eat what you want as long as you're eating healthy, right? So there's people that eat healthy and you're eating really healthy and you're being really disciplined, but you don't lose weight because you're taking in too many calories. And vice versa. If you want to fit pizza and ice cream into your diet, and technically speaking, if you're in a calorie deficit and you only eat pizza and ice cream, then you will lose weight. That's just how it works. I'm not saying that that's an effective way, but if we are able to fit some of those things that we're craving into our routine and into our nutrition plan, but we maintain that calorie deficit, then we're going to be able to see progress and have it not be miserable. That's basically the overall concept of what I teach and what I do for myself and what I do for my clients. It's calories in versus calories out. That's like the main foundational thing that you need in order to lose weight. Now, there's ways and strategies and tactics to be in a calorie deficit, and that's what we're going to start to look at. Okay, so this is a stay consistent. I just really like this picture of this like jacked old guy. He's just happy. He's chilling. Right? This is how you want to be on your weight loss journey. You want to be chilling. You want to be relaxed. You want to be happy that you're doing it because you're building a healthier body and you're building a better you. So you need to have it be more consistent. And you need to be more chill and relaxed. Okay? So so this was like this mental understanding of what we're doing. We're going to start now getting into like, okay, what actions can we take to take this information that we just learned and put it into action and actually start putting it into our routine. Okay, so we're going to go over like specifically what some of my like nutritional guidelines here in just a second. So let's start going through this now. You can have a piece of paper, you can write it down on your phone, you can take a mental note, whatever works best for you. You're going to list 1 to 3 foods that you can't live without. For me, it's pizza, ice cream, and I would say probably something along the lines of like a hamburger and french fries, just like the combo of that. Those are like, man, there's nothing better than just a delicious slice of pizza after like a hard day, or burgers and fries, or like milkshakes and ice cream. Like, I love that stuff. I'm a huge foodie, right? I used to be a fat kid for a reason, you know? You know, I love food. It tastes great, it's fun, it's great, it's awesome, I love it. Those are my foods that I can't live without. List 3 foods high in protein that you can eat regularly. So for me, I like chicken, I like steak, and I like eggs. Those are like my top 3 foods that I have. Okay. List 3 fruits and vegetables that you can eat regularly. So for me, I like a bag of mixed vegetables. I'll do like a low calorie fried rice thing. I love berries, blueberries, strawberries. I put that in my yogurt or oatmeal every single day. Delicious. I like asparagus, awesome vegetable. And then just another fruit. Love clementines, bananas. That's 3 fruits. I love broccoli, right? It's another 3 vegetables, 3 fruits. Those are things that I feel like I could eat regularly. I love those things. And now we need to figure out how many calories that you're eating now and then slowly reduce that over time. So here's what you do, right? So you're starting to make these changes into your diet. So what we want to do is we want to have you eating those high protein foods in general most of the time, almost every day. We want to get you to eat fruits and vegetables every single day. And then you have that calorie budget for the day. You can, if after you get your protein and your fruits and vegetables in, you can eat a slice of pizza and fit that into your calories. You can have a bowl of ice cream and fit that into your calories. In fact, when I started doing this, I would eat pizza and ice cream almost every day. I would have pizza for lunch and I would have ice cream as a dessert. And it was like 900 calories total out of like my 2,200 calories that I was eating for the day. Okay. And I was like, this is sick. This is awesome. I'm eating what I want. I'm losing weight. And that's how I was able to enjoy that process. Okay. And then as far as figuring out how many calories that you're eating, this is something that, you know, there's calorie trackers online, or there's calorie calculators online that you can use as a rough example to kind of get you started with a number. I'm usually pretty good with giving people a calorie limit after talking to them for like 15 minutes. If they tell me more about their routine and stuff like that, I'm able to say, okay, it sounds like you're eating about this many calories. Let's adjust from there. But for you, if you're doing this on your own, you don't want to have a coach or anything like that, just figure out how many calories that you're currently eating while you're gaining weight, while you're maintaining your weight, whatever it is that your regular routine is right now that you're trying to change. Figure out how many calories that you're eating and just try to eat a little bit less than that following these new guidelines. So just to kind of summarize, these are the guidelines that we're going to have for weight loss. You need to be in a calorie deficit. You need to consume less calories than your body burns. You want to have 2 servings of fruit and vegetables every single day. You want to have this is rough. If you're very overweight, you probably just can use a little bit less, but for average people, about 0.75 grams of protein to 1.25 grams of protein per pound of body weight. For example, I weigh about 180. I try to get anywhere between like 160 and 220 grams of protein personally. If you're maybe like a 140-pound woman, then maybe about 120 to 160 grams of protein. If you're a guy who's like 250 pounds, then you could probably get away with like 180 to 220 grams of protein. Like obviously, if you're a little bit more overweight, then you don't need to get that much protein in. This is just like a rough place to start. And then you want to have about a gallon of water a day. So if you're able to hit all of these guidelines, then you can budget out your calories any way that you want. You can go out and have, if you're eating, let's say you eat 2,500 calories a day and you eat healthy most of the time, and then you want to go out and have like 1,000 calories worth of alcohol, like you could technically do that. Like you could fit that in. Now I wouldn't recommend doing that. That's just kind of like an extreme example to get you thinking, but probably a better idea for you guys would be like, okay, maybe for breakfast you have fruit, oatmeal, and whey protein, and then for lunch you have like a big rice bowl with salad and like protein and meat and vegetables and all that, like a Chipotle bowl or something like that. I love Chipotle. Then for dinner, maybe you do like we're actually going to go into some meal examples in a second, but you have another healthy meal, and then for, you have 600 calories left at the end of the day, so you have some ice cream to finish the day off, something like that. And there's also what really can help, and we're about to look at some examples here in a sec, but you can also try to find lower calorie versions of the food that you love. So like I make this like chicken pizza flatbread that's like 300 calories and it's like really delicious. I make my own hamburgers with like lean meat. That's obviously a lot less calories. Just things like that. Sometimes I'll do like a Greek yogurt with fruit and honey, and I'll do that instead of ice cream because I know it's going to be like more satisfying and it kind of kicks that craving a little bit. As far as what you should specifically do, there's definitely something that I want to do is like kind of make a recipe book that's available for people. And that's something that I do a lot with my clients. So that's something that you might have to try to figure out a little bit on your own, but hopefully these concepts and tools are giving you better ideas of what you need to do. And also getting about 6 to 8 hours of sleep a day, right? I understand that sleep can sometimes be very hard for some people. You have families, you have work, all that stuff. Try to get at least 6 to 8 a day. That's going to be the most important, okay? So right here we're going to go through a few examples of some meal plans. So this is one of my clients, one of my women clients. Her goal is about 1,700 calories a day, and she's been crushing it lately. She's been losing weight steadily, and I think she's doing a good job making a transition. So she's a little bit newer of a client of mine. So like she's not super amazing with like vegetables and fruit and stuff like that. But she is getting her fiber in. She is getting her protein in. This has been sustainable. She's eating out even while on a lunch break. And being able to satisfy those delicious cravings, being able to go out, have that flexibility, even when you're busy at work, going out to eat. And just she's making those adjustments, so I feel like this is a good example for you guys to see. She got some protein powder, she got some protein pancakes. She even went to Starbucks because that's what she's enjoyed doing. She used to drink like a 250 calorie like sugar coffee. Now she's doing a lower calorie version of the same food that she likes. She got some fruit in, which is amazing. Lunch, she went to Chick-fil-A. She got some chicken nuggets because that's what she's enjoyed. She tracked her dipping sauce. She's able to fit that into her calories. That's awesome. Grilled chicken wrap just to get that protein in. Had a Diet Coke. satisfy that little craving, kind of fill up your stomach a little bit. You can have Diet Coke, sparkling water, black coffee, like those type of things are also really good, like diet hacks to help you stay with your calories. And then for dinner, she made herself like a chicken sandwich. And I think this is like a great transitioning process and like how you can be less strict with yourself. Like here she is, she's doing well, she's on her calorie goal, she feels good, she feels well. This is a good day, guys. This is a good day. This is what a good day couldn't look like. Not every day needs to be perfect. You can fit these things into your calories and still kind of enjoy yourself and have a little bit of fun. Here's another example that I made up, 2,200 calories. This would be like an example meal plan that I would give to somebody. This is awesome, right? So for breakfast, we have Protemeal. It's like protein powder inside of oatmeal. Tastes delicious. For lunch, we had Chipotle bowl, double rice, double beans, chicken, fajita vegetables, some salad on there. I know, I don't have to make it myself. I'm busy during the day. There you go, get my Chipotle in. Then, maybe you crush a good workout or something after work. Dinner comes around, you make yourself, hamburger, and you have some lettuce, tomato, onion on it. Tastes delicious, satisfies that craving. And then, throughout the day, maybe you get like a protein shake and some fruit in as like a snack earlier in the day. And then a little dessert, get some PB powder, make that into the peanut butter, put that onto some chocolate rice cakes. 2,200 calories. This is a delicious full day of eating. High protein, high fiber. We have fruit, we have vegetables. We're accomplishing our guidelines. And then this is just another example of about 2,500 calories, just to get some different idea. So for breakfast, protein shake. This is something that I actually did myself as I'm trying to lose weight. So for breakfast, I had some, I might pronounce this wrong, kefir or kefir probiotic. I did that before my workout. Then I worked out. I had a protein shake and some fruit. For lunch, when I came home from the workout, I had what's called anabolic French toast. This is like one of the recipes that I share with my clients. It's like it's high protein French toast. There's recipes for it online if you want to look it up. For dinner, I make this like taco salad. I fit some chips in there. I have ground beef, salad. It's this huge bowl of food. So the calories are definitely well spent. And then, a snack throughout the day. I got a protein bar and a banana. So very simple, high volume of food, delicious recipes. This is the type of days of eating that are going to help you succeed. Okay. So now that we're getting through the mental aspect, we're going through the guidelines of nutrition. That's pretty much everything you need to know about nutrition. These are just some other factors that you want to consider, what I call the 3 S's. So the first S is sleep, which is responsible for hormone balance and energy transfer happens during sleep. So your body is using body fat as energy, it's burning fat, you're losing weight mostly at night when you're asleep. So the more sleep that you get, the more efficient that your body is going to be at burning fat, as well as it's going to help you regulate your hormones and make sure that you're healthy. We have stress. Management of stress is very important. The more stress that you have, the more cravings that you're going to have, the less quality of life. If we're able to kind of manage your stress in different ways besides just eating a bunch of junk food or smoking cigarettes, then we'll have less cravings and we'll have a better quality of life. And then strength. And strength is super important because you need to get a faster metabolism. When you build muscle, you're going to burn more calories at rest. Okay, so there's something that I share called the treadmill effect. If you're just trying, this is what most people do when they want to lose weight, they do a bunch of cardio and they will start to lose some weight, but then what happens is your body starts to adapt to your weight as you get lighter, right? Because there's less of you, so you're burning less calories. And so that's where people get stuck at eating like 1,200 calories a day and they can't lose weight because their body's metabolism has completely slowed down from just running on the treadmill. If you strength train and you work out and you lift and you build muscle, over time you're going to be able to burn more calories at rest. Like I know some women clients of mine or some women in general that eat anywhere between 2,200 to 2,500 calories a day and they're like 130 something pounds. Like they lift a lot of weights and they are doing their strength training, so they're able to eat more food. And if you're able to eat more food, then you're going to have an easier time being consistent because it's going to be easier for you to diet if you're able to eat more food, right? Less hunger, less cravings, easier to manage if you're able to eat more, right? It's just That's usually people succeed more when they're able to eat more and still be in a deficit. So I'm not going to get too crazy into these topics for right now. I'm just going to give you guys some tips on each one of the things. Okay. So some stress management tips. Address your problems head on. If you got some problems with your family, if you got some financial problems, address those problems. The more that you try to ignore it, the more that the cravings for things like high sugar, high fat, cigarettes, whatever bad habit that you have is going to pull at you. So whatever it is that's causing you stress, address it head on, have that conversation, seek help if you need to, that's address it head on. Don't ignore it. I'm a huge proponent of meditation and like journaling and mindfulness, being able to acknowledge that thoughts are going on in your head and being able to like return yourself back to a state of calm, return yourself back to a state of being. That is something that I think is so important and no one talks about. If you're able to manage your stress better and you practice things like meditation and stuff like that, you're actually going to find that you have less cravings and you're going to be able to have more hormone balance and you're going to be less hungry all the time because your stress is more managed. And look for more positive stress reliefs. Try to get a hobby that you really enjoy doing. Hang around positive people, positive friends. We have a great community over here at RSS. So if you join over here, you know that you're going to be good with me. You're going to be good with other people. But, maybe you have a local community of yours that you like revolving around a hobby that you enjoy. I love jiu-jitsu. Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a great hobby to get into. You get extra cardio. You meet people. It's fun. It's engaging. Maybe you play chess. Maybe you play tennis. Maybe you play, I know my parents that play pickleball. Like whatever. Like something like that. It's going to keeping positive about your life and keeping people around you. Like you're going to have a lot easier time losing weight if you have these type of things in your life, right? Some sleep tips. Aim to be in bed for at least 7 to 9 hours. Now I mentioned earlier, I recommend 6 to 8 hours of sleep, but you're probably going to waste at least an hour in bed overall every single night, which is crazy to think about. It's a lot of time, right? But you need to get that sleep. Sleep is important. It's not a waste. It's a priority, okay? Try to keep your schedule as consistent as possible. I understand that sometimes we have work schedules and things that will change our sleep schedule. Try to keep it as consistent as possible. Try to go to bed at a reasonable time every night. Try to wake up around the same time every night. And if you have kids, if you have a wife, or if you have a husband, you have people that you live with, make sure they're in on it. Hey, listen, I'm really trying to get healthier and I really appreciate any support. I really want to get more sleep so that way I can better this thing and better myself. And I would say most family, you try to keep them on the same page. You stay consistent with it. You don't argue. You don't yell. You just share what you're trying to accomplish. And a lot of the times, people can be very understanding if you don't come at people with aggression. Okay. I want to address napping. Napping can be anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes. Any more, and you can disrupt the sleep cycle. A full sleep cycle is 90 minutes. So if you're able to take a nap for a full 90 minutes, then you'll go through a full sleep cycle, and you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Okay, so that's just some basic sleep tips. And also just try to keep your room nice and cool. And don't be afraid to experiment with different things. Try putting on a fan. Try putting on some white noise. Try putting earplugs in. Try different temperatures. Try sleeping in different bed positions. Try to have a nightly routine that involves like meditation or like writing down what you want to do the next day. Or things like that. Start to experiment with things that can help you establish a healthier sleep routine. And then some strength tips. So if you are first starting out with strength training, you want to start nice and small. 20 to 30 minutes a week, 20 to 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes a strength session, 2 to 3 times a week, focusing on progressive strength training will do more for you than hours upon hours of cardio. Yes, that's true, because the strength training is going to have a stacked response over time. You're going to be able to burn more calories at rest over time as kind of like an investment. And then, like I said, you'll be able to eat more food. So you start small. Don't go too crazy. Don't try to do everything at once. Okay? Don't try to go too hard too quickly. When you're first starting out, focus on form and safety. Make sure you feel what muscles are being hit. Make sure you're not hurting your knees, your back, or anything like that. This is where like having a trainer or a coach is helpful. or even just researching on YouTube is a great way to learn for free. Also, um, make sure that you're taking your time with movements, move slow, focus on building good form, build habits, and then once you start to feel confident in your technique and your form, it's called progressive overload. So every single week, you're going to try to increase the amount of reps or increase the amount of weight that you're using for your strength exercises. And like I said previously, the key is to not push yourself too hard, too fast, but just to stay consistent over time. If you just stay consistent with it, you're going to find that your body naturally adapts to the strength training and you're going to get stronger over time. Like it's going to happen just based off of pure consistently alone. That's definitely as a beginner. As you start to become more intermediate, you start to have about a year of working out underneath your belt, then you might need to bump up the volume a little bit. You may need to start working out a little bit more frequently. You may need to change up your routine a little bit. But overall, start small. Don't try to go to the gym 2 hours a day for 6 days a week. It's not going to be better. You're not going to get results faster by doing more. It's about just doing the same thing consistently over time. Fall in love with the process of your strength training, and that's the best tip that I can give you. If you need help, there is a YouTube video on my channel where I give away a free 8-week program. If I remember, I'll put the spreadsheet in the description of this video, and you can get a free 8-week template, no problem. If you want me to customize the program for you, we can also do that as well. But guys, that's pretty much the end of this workshop. I hope you guys found it helpful. We're at 40 minutes, so definitely a lot to discuss, but I do believe that the investment of this time was very helpful. So just to quickly summarize what we went over, and then we're going to go into a little Q&A that we've had from some of our live chat during the shop, as well as some questions that we got before the workshop, okay? So fat loss can be achieved through a calorie deficit, nothing magic. You need to build good habits by following realistic goals and guidelines. You need to strength train consistently with the goal of getting stronger each week. Don't pay too much attention to supplements or noise. I know I never brought up anything about supplements, and there's a reason for that, because I don't really think that anything works. Fat loss supplements, most supplements in general, are a complete waste of time, complete waste of money. They're garbage. They're not good for you. The best supplements out there are whey protein. That's just a protein source. It's a convenient protein source. You don't need it. Creatine monohydrate can be good if you start to get pretty serious about strength training, but again, not something that's needed. And caffeine, black coffee, boom. You don't need any fancy supplements. Okay. So, if you guys enjoyed this so far, you guys got a lot of help from this. You started to get some clarity on the information that I've given you. I'm really happy to hear. The next step of that is that we need to start putting this information into action. Okay, so if you're watching this video before May 10th, it's 75% off all of my training packages. All training plans, nutrition plans, and coaching is 75% off before May 10th if you're coming from this workshop, okay? If you're interested in that, simply DM me or email rosatistrengthsystems@gmail.com to get started. We'll have a quick conversation about your situation. I'll try to offer you as much help as possible. And if you want to move forward with me, then we can do that. Otherwise, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this workshop. What we're going to do for the remainder of this is just going to go through some of the Q&A. So if you're not interested in that, then that's fine. But if you are interested to see what a few people had to ask, then we can go over it, because maybe you have. All right, so let's go over some of the questions that some people had before the workshop. So this is going to be the first response that we're going to have. So when I asked what kind of questions or what kind of problems that you're having, this is some of the responses that I got. So self-control. I can be extremely disciplined in multiple assets of life, but when it comes to food, for my job, I do HVAC sales. So self-control can be extremely disciplined in multiple assets of my life, except for when it comes for food. For my job, I do HVAC sales, so I'm on the road a lot. Excuse me. I end up eating a lot of Wawa and Quick Check and 7-Eleven, and it's hard for me to not also grab that candy bar or that donut at checkout. I've only ever had real success losing weight and keeping it off doing keto for about 3 years. I lost all the weight within the first year because I was meal prepping every Sunday and I only ate my meal prep. It was a struggle though. Keto is also very annoying when you grow up in a large Italian family, LOL. Yeah, so let me address a couple of things. So first off, if you've gained weight since this like response, since doing keto, you did not keep it off, right? And that's the purpose of what we're saying. So keto is a very restrictive diet, and it definitely can work for some people. I think it really works for people who don't have like the social circumstances that like most people have. Like it's gonna be hard for you to eat dinner with your family if you're doing keto. It's just a very restrictive diet overall. I believe that it's really only helpful for people who have autoimmune disorders or autoimmune issues because it reduces your inflammation. But otherwise, if you work out a lot or you just want to have like better performance, usually you need those carbs because that glycogen and glucose is going to fuel your muscles and fuel your brain. So I'm not a big fan of that diet. For you, I would definitely, just kind of some thoughts without really knowing too much more about your routine and schedule. You can eat very healthy at Wawa and Quick Check. Like, I already know for a fact, like at Wawa, you can get like a chicken and bean and rice bowl pretty easily at Wawa. As far as like that donut or candy bar at checkout, you have a couple of options. If you're strength training regularly and you're a guy, you could probably fit a donut or something into your calories. It's like 200 or 250 calories for a candy bar or donut. Or try to find a higher protein or lower calorie version of what it is that you're craving. So for instance, you can get a protein bar. A lot of protein bars are basically just candy bars with protein, but at least you're getting that protein in, so you can do that. Or maybe you get like a protein cookie or like some type of high protein sweet thing instead of a candy bar or donut. Or you just fit it into your calories and you say, you know what, I'm going to enjoy my donut. I'm going to enjoy my 200 calories. I need about 2,300 calories a day. This is just going to be a part of my budget. So I think either one of those things can work. Eating at Wawa or Quick Check, they usually have healthy options that are higher in protein. They have some type of like chicken sandwich or some type of like chicken bowl, something like that. You could go to Chipotle. Anything that basically you can make a meal for yourself that's like meat, some type of protein, some type of carb, some type of vegetable. You can easily find those things when you're on the road. Maybe look around for some type of like healthier eating place and you can get food from there. So that'd probably be my suggestion. Otherwise, let's talk a little bit more in detail about this after the workshop for your specific situation. So someone said that I want better discipline and mental resilience, which has been my biggest issues when it comes to fitness. So I think you would definitely find a lot of value over what I spoke about earlier when it came to kind of switching our mindset from having willpower and discipline to building better routines and building better habits. Um, you can definitely have better discipline for sure, and like having more mental resilience for sure. Like I would say like a big issue that a lot of people have is like the idea of like going to a gym is a struggle for people because you're like worried that people are gonna like look at you or make you feel weird because you're like going to a gym and you're not in shape. When you go to a gym, nobody cares. Like nobody's watching you. Everyone's just doing their own thing. Most people are very positive at the gym. You might even make a friend. Otherwise, you could always like work out from home as well. You basically want to ask yourself like, so when you're telling yourself like, I'm gonna diet or I'm gonna go do my workouts, what are the storylines that are telling you to not do those things? Oh, I'm nervous around people. Oh, I'm really stressed. Oh, I'm really busy with other things. Acknowledge those things that are telling you and kind of notice it as like bogus or BS and just say like, again, this goes back to just being that human brain. Like we want that comfort zone, so our brain makes up different storylines to keep us in our comfort zone. So we need to be able to address that and we need to be able to make steps in the right direction. Again, for you, it might be to start small. Maybe you're not willing to go to the gym right away, but you're willing to go for a walk and do some push-ups and bodyweight squats, something to that effect. Like, or maybe it's to make one or two small changes in your nutrition. This is something that's huge. Make small changes over time, and that's what's going to get you better results long term. So another one, to know that I'm eating enough but not overeating. I never know how many calories I eat, so I just want to be able to eat out without feeling guilty every time. So this is where learning how to track your calories is important. And it doesn't matter how busy you are. It doesn't matter if you're in a dorm. Download the app MyFitnessPal, and whatever it is that you're about to eat, search it up on the app And if there's multiple different variations, like you're not able to find like an exact thing that is going to fit your calories, just try to pick something, find an average and stick to it. Like if you go to like get lunch and it's hard and there's so many different ingredients and you can't find the restaurant on MyFitnessPal, let's say just look up like chicken, rice, and bean bowl and try to find the average based on size, and then just pick something. Like just pick something. Start to get a rough idea of how many calories that you're eating. If you want, if we do wind up having a call together, then you can just tell me what you're eating and I'll probably give you a good estimate of what you're doing. But otherwise, start to hold yourself a little bit more accountable with how many calories that you're eating. And as far as feeling guilty, again, that kind of goes back to my mental things that I was saying earlier. Guilt and shame are not going to serve you, so you don't need to, you want to try to acknowledge those feelings for what they are, and start to take steps in the right direction. Start to address your problems. If you're feeling guilty about always overeating or eating junk food, then maybe we need to start to make a change as far as like what food selections that you're going for, or you need to figure out how to track your calories, and that's a step in the right direction. You need to start taking forward steps and forward progression without trying to change everything at once. And allow yourself to have some fun here and there. Allow yourself to eat certain foods within your calorie limit. If you don't know how many calories that you're eating, use a calorie calculator online and figure out how many calories that you can make as a goal and start to make a meal plan based around the goal that it gives you. Follow that for a week or two, make adjustments as you need. And then our last one that we have here. So I work overnight shifts, so my days are extremely long. I know very well sleep is very important towards any health goals, but unfortunately I really am unable to sleep during daylight, and I only take quick naps here and there throughout my day. So with this planning, eating schedule, and balancing a certain amount of calories throughout a day is tough. I really don't have a start or end to my day with only getting small naps in throughout my day. So I guess my main question is that how can I structure a day of eating based on a work week like this? So definitely figuring out a little bit more about your routine would be helpful. As far as sleeping during daylight, you should be definitely getting blackout curtains. You can get blackout curtains for like $30 on Amazon, so there's no excuse there. That'll block out all the sunlight and it will make your room pitch black as if it was night. So you could definitely get some sleep there, although it is, having overnight shifts and sleeping during the day is definitely not something that our body is naturally used to, but it is something that you can build a circadian rhythm and sleep schedule to that as long as you make it consistent. So if you're going to bed and waking up at the same time, then you can make that your goal. Because if you put the blackout curtains and you're able to have that bedtime from 7 to 9 hours, then that's going to fit your sleep schedule anyway, and it doesn't matter that you work at night. Fitting naps in throughout the day is fine. If you're able to put in 90 minutes, get a full sleep cycle. Nothing wrong with that. No shame. Good for you. You got to get your sleep in, so that's super important. And then as far as fitting in an eating schedule like this, you want to figure out how many calories that you can eat. So if you want to look at a calorie calculator or do it through me, then we can do that. That's fine. You could do that. Look at the calories and then start to build a example meal plan template around your day. So you could say like, okay, well, so I'm going to have meal 1 at this time, meal 2 at this time, meal 3 at this time. I'm going to have these type of snacks. And if I eat like this, it'll fit this many calories, and this day of eating kind of fits all my guidelines, and I'm able to eat out as well at the same time. So that way I'm able to be flexible. So something to that effect. You want to have, you follow the guidelines, get your calorie intake, do a little bit of research as far as what foods have protein, what vegetables and fruits you like. Look at some recipes that you can try cooking. Get your family on board. Maybe someone will cook for you. You can eat healthy and eat out at the same time. You can go to a Chipotle or something like that, and find foods like that to fit into your schedule, and try to get those blackout curtains and make a more consistent sleep schedule. Again, I can help you guys out a little bit more in person. So again, next step, guys, we got before May 10th, 75% off all packages. DM me, email me if you want to do that. Otherwise, I hope this was helpful for you. I'll see you guys in the next video.